Hello, my name's Jim Leverentz. I'm here for the Fermented Chef. If there's one word that brings cheese to mind, it's pizza, and mozzarella means pizza. Today I'm going to show you how to take 1 gallon of store-bought milk and convert it to 1 pound of mozzarella cheese in just 1 hour. It all starts with pre-measuring our ingredients. We're going to start by heating the milk to 88 degrees. It's important to put it on low heat and heat slowly. I'm stirring the milk gently just to distribute the heat, not to mix anything in. As the milk heats, we're going to add citric acid, gently stir that in, and at the same time I'm going to add calcium chloride. Now the citric acid is going to cause the polarity of the milk to change, and the molecules of protein are going to line up with each other. It's important to use the calcium chloride because we're using store-bought milk. Pasteurization has altered the balance between calcium and protein in the milk, so we need to restore that balance with the addition of the calcium chloride solution. We're using microbial rennet in a tablet form, so it needs to be rehydrated in distilled water before we use it. When we add this rennet, the reaction is going to be almost immediate. You'll feel the milk change with your spoon, and you'll see the curds begin to separate. When you add the rennet, it's important not to stir too vigorously. The milk will begin to change almost immediately as the curds separate from the whey. We don't want to stir vigorously or swirl the milk. It's best to pump it up and down to distribute the heat and the rennet. We want the milk to go still when we take the spoon out. As the curd separates from the whey, you'll be amazed at how much water there is in a gallon of milk. Those of you who might be lactose intolerant will be interested to note most of the lactose in the milk, which is milk sugar, remains in the whey and doesn't follow through to the curd. Once the milk hits 105 degrees, it's time to let it rest for 20 minutes. Just put the lid on, turn the heat off, no agitation, and no peeking. Since you are making the cheese yourself, we can take advantage of this time while the cheese rests. I'm going to prepare some basil. You can add any herb that you're interested in. It's important though that whatever you use, it goes into the microwave to be sanitized because it's going to contain some bacteria that you may not want in the cheese. After 20 minutes, it's time to remove the lid, and you'll see the separation of the curds and the whey. The white curds will be floating in the grayish liquid. Now it's time to extract the curd. It's important at this point to get as much water out of the curd as possible. You can use your spoon to press against the colander and allow the whey to drain off. There's no reason to hurry at this point, as long as the curd remains warm. We're going to move the curd to a microwave-safe dish and allow it to continue to drain. You'll notice that as the curd sits, more whey is going to run out. We want to pour that off as best we can also. Now it's time for the first pass at the microwave to cook the curd. One minute on high will do. Not all microwaves are the same. Depending on the wattage of your machine, you may need to leave the cheese in the microwave for a little bit longer, anywhere from a minute to a minute 30. After 1 minute, you're going to see the heat has driven off more moisture. We want to get rid of that as best we can. It may be necessary to press on the cheese to squeeze more moisture out of it. Now it's time to add salt. Salt is used for flavoring at this point and preserving. We want to mix that in. This is not table salt or kosher salt. It's pickling salt or flaked salt. The reason for using it is that it's very, very fine the way it's ground, so that it won't leave any grittiness in the cheese. It'll be completely absorbed into the curd. This is also the time that if you wanted to add flavoring, when you would put it in. I'm going to add chiffonade of basil to my cheese. And now it's time to go back into the microwave for 1 more minute. After the second time out of the microwave, you may notice some more moisture has been driven out of the curd. It's important to drain that off at this point. You're going to see that the cheese is a lot softer and a lot stickier at this point. Now we want to just massage it regularly and allow it to cool as one mass. We don't want it to cool on the outside and stay warm on the inside. At this point, you know that it's time to stretch. You may want to use a pair of food-safe gloves at this point because of the heat. The cheese is quite warm. And what you're doing here is you're allowing the cheese to cool evenly. One of the most frequently asked questions at this point in time is how long will it keep in the refrigerator? I don't have any idea. We've never had a batch actually make it to the refrigerator. It's so tasty when it's warm like this that there's none left to go to the fridge. At this point, you can mold the cheese just like clay, like plasticine, into any shape you want. Traditionally, you'd put it into a round shape like this, same way as you would dough to let it rise. At this point, your cheese is ready to serve. This is Jim Leverentz for The Fermented Chef saying, cook slow, eat slow, and ferment with grace.
This cheese was made using the Leaner's You Make It brand mozzarella cheese making kit. It includes enough ingredients to make 6 batches of fresh mozzarella, plus instructions to make ricotta cheese using the leftover whey. You only supply fresh store-bought milk. Kits are available in our store and at leaners.com. Also available is the Complete Idiot's Guide to Cheese Making, written by Jim Leverentz. This book has detailed instructions for making cheeses from the mozzarella you just saw to aged hard cheddar, plus recipes for using the finished cheeses.